Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today I'm bringing you the top 10 smartphones of 2020. Is my list going to be like yours? Probably not. Is my list going to be like anyone else's on YouTube? Probably not. Let's get started. Now everyone has their own criteria when it comes to ranking the top smartphones of the year. Mine are two very specific ones, and that is one, the phone had to come out in 2020. For instance, the LG 8X is a really good phone to get right now. Only $400, dual screen phone, really great price. Came out last year, so doesn't make the list. The other ones are going to be that I had to at least have them in my hand. Now that was very difficult, obviously, in this year I basically was kind of refined to the ones that were sent to me, and obviously the ones I can get in some stores, and also the ones that my coworkers happen to have in the office that I have to go to. So, with all that being said, those are the only ones that will be eligible to be on the list. Let's get started. Coming in at number 10, the TCL 10L. TCL really did an amazing job this year showing us what you can get for around a $200 price point, and that is 6 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. That was unheard of in this price range before, and TCL brought it for their first phones. These were really good and showed so much promise. I really think they weren't talked about enough because they came out at the very beginning of the year and everyone forgot about them, honestly, by the end of the year. But still, if you're going around a $200 price point, these are ones to get. I actually like them more than the Motos. And overall, I was just really happy to see what TCL could bring to this range. So the TCL 10L is normally $250, but it often goes on sale for $200 and even a little bit under, is one you could definitely get for this price range. Next one is the Samsung Galaxy A51. The A series really kicked it up this year, and it just came with it. It really brought a lot to the improvements that we saw from the A series last year, which took a leap from the J series. And overall, I was really happy with the A51. Coming in at $400 normal price or $300 often on sale and all kinds of deals to get it for free, it really is a lot of phone. And you can honestly get it on Amazon, the international version, which has a smaller battery with 4,000 milliamps, which is still really good. It basically has the kind of camera quality that a OnePlus has at about $600+, but in a much lower price tier. So this really gives you a lot. If you want the 5G version, you also get a bigger battery. So honestly, this is a really solid phone. If you want a big screen phone for under $400, I think this is the best one you could possibly get. The iPhone SE 2020. Now this iPhone is really an iPhone for everyone. If you want to get a cheap first time phone, if you want to get someone into iPhones for the very first time and they don't want to spend that much money, this is the iPhone to get. And you don't have to get an old model. This is this year's model, the iPhone SE 2020. Even though it has a lot of last gen parts, it really is great to have a phone at this price point from iPhone. It really goes against what Steve Jobs had, and this is really Tim Cook's Apple now. It's giving an iPhone for everyone at every single price range instead of before, only high end, only for few, and that's what it was for. Now it's for everyone, and it's all about getting people to get their services. Completely different mindset in terms of what Apple has become, and this is the creme de la creme of showing what Tim Cook's Apple really is. The Google Pixel 5. Honestly, this is the phone that everyone wanted Google to make for the longest time. A wireless charging phone that has a wide-angle camera and it doesn't cost $1,000 or $800 or $900 smartphone. This is what Google should have done, and this is what they brought this year. They brought really great smartphones for really great prices and still hold one of the best cameras to date. Honestly, this is still my secondary phone, and until I get a phone for my primary that has a good enough camera, the Pixel will still be at my side. I love the quality of this phone overall. Never have any issues with it. Good phone overall, but the camera quality is really what I keep it around for. And I know anytime I want to take photos, pretty much every thumbnail is shot with the Pixel 5 that I make. So yeah, it's really good and it really just stands out overall. the Red Magic 5S. This one really replaced OnePlus for me, and it's really not talked about a lot. I know they're not big. Nubia or ZTE, the double parent companies, are not talked about in the US a lot, but this phone really should be commended for doing what OnePlus should have done. Coming in at under $600, you get the flagship killer. You get the top processor on the market, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs storage starting off, or for only $649, you get 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage, and you have the best screen, period. This screen is 144 Hz AMOLED display from Samsung. It has everything that you could want in a display, and it just is really good. Honestly, it's the best screen still to this day, and it just moves so quick. But in the 5S version, they really improved the software. The software still has glitches and issues that the 5G version had earlier this year. When the 5S came out, this one really fixed all the problems. Still has 5G internet in the US, and really just is so good. I cannot recommend this one enough. If you just want the best specs and best gaming phone for the price, this is easily it. Again, under $600, this is the never settle device you really get, and it even has a better camera than the OnePlus 8 does. So really stands out overall, and highly recommend if you just want the best specs for the price. And coming in at the top 5 is my current daily driver, the Galaxy Fold 2. This phone is what I like to call polished innovation. See, there was a lot of great flagships out there that I didn't get to get my hands on, like the LG Wing, the Surface Duo, a lot of great smartphones out there. But while they will be great, I would say next year with their next innovations, they're polishing everything. Samsung already had their flagship last year enter this realm. And the Fold 2 is the definition of polished innovation. They improved the front screen, they improved the middle screen, they improved the hinge. Everything about this phone is improved majorly from last year, that it just works so much better. The software is great. If you followed my tweaks, you get a better software and better battery life than definitely when it comes out of the box. So it's not perfect, but it just has so much going on for it. The two things that kept this phone from moving up, well, three things. Price. Price has to be the biggest concern that I will definitely say is why I couldn't rank this phone higher. The price was just too much for most people, and it's just not accessible. It's not. If I wasn't a YouTuber, I probably would have not got this phone. I did get it, and I am so glad I did. I've had such a great time with it, but at the same time, I do understand it's definitely not for everyone, and it really does have a huge price point. Second two things though are definitely, it doesn't have an S Pen, which it desperately needed this year, and it hopefully will have it on the Fold 3. And definitely the camera quality needs to be improved. I'm sorry, but for $2,000, why am I not getting the best camera Samsung has to offer? I should. I really should. And coming from the Note to this, it was such a disappointment in the reduction of camera quality that I don't take photos with this phone. I rather take it with the Pixel 5, and that's one thing that I really need the next gen phone to really step up. I should have the best camera quality on the Galaxy Fold 3. The iPhone 12. The iPhone 12 is such a good phone that I don't really think anyone needs a Pro anymore. Yes, there are two iPhones on this list, and the iPhone 12 really honestly impressed me for the price point it stayed at, even with 5G, and it really showed Samsung and all other manufacturers, hey, we're not going to always overcharge for 5G. We're going to keep it at this kind of price range, and that's fine. And you know what? More power to them on that. I'm glad they didn't inflate prices like crazy like Samsung unfortunately did at the beginning of this year. And really, this phone was very important for that reason alone. Honestly, the iPhone 12 did a very good job, and honestly, I don't think anyone really needs a Pro. Their optical zoom isn't that great. Their LiDAR isn't really necessary. And yeah, if you want a bigger screen, sure, but most people really, I would say the iPhone 12 is better. You're getting it under $900 with bigger storage. I think it's the best one to go with for most people, and it really stands out for that reason. The Pixel 4a, out of all these budget phones, under $500, this was the phone. Honestly, if I would recommend any phone for anyone who wants a phone for under $500, this is typically the one I would go with. Pixel 4a has great camera, great battery life. Those are the two key things that are most important to people and that people really always want and definitely, as they get older with the phone, as they spend more time with it, they will notice if it's not good. So this phone is so solid. I do wish Google will introduce an XL next year because I personally wanted a bigger screen, but honestly, the quality was really great. I ended up buying one for my mother-in-law, and it is just such a good phone to get. If you really want just an awesome all-around phone, this is definitely one I would recommend. For under $400, this is really the best phone you can get. The Galaxy S20 FE. Man, did Samsung come and knock it out of the park in the bottom of the ninth with this phone. See, the S20 series really didn't do well. I said it from the beginning, I love Samsung, but they really overcharged, starting at $1,000 for their S series phones. I knew they weren't going to sell even before all this craziness happened because it was just too much of a price point. And then Apple came in and showed them, hey, we're going to sell this at $800 instead of $1,000. So they really showed them, hey, this is not going to go down like this. Overall, I hope Samsung learned their lesson. I hope the S21s will be at a much reduced price starting off, which all signs point to it will be. But overall, the S21 FE shows you can have the best of the best. You can have the same cameras, same processor, same RAM, same storage. All this the same, just have a cheaper material to manufacture, which most people don't mind anyway, and you are set for having an $800 and under price point phone. This phone went down all the way to $500 during those big sales for the holidays, and that was a steal. I recommended it to everyone. That was the best phone of the holiday season to get, just because at $500 before you traded in everything, it was just amazing. There's still always deals on it, and I definitely recommend that if you are looking for a Samsung phone, the Samsung S20 FE is probably the phone you should get, and it's just great for the price and everything you need. And the number one spot goes to the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. A lot of you probably saw this coming, but man, this phone just knocked it out of the park. The biggest thing I could say about this phone is that there is nothing wrong with it. And that is very interesting to say because the camera quality is on another level. The fact that it has a natural bokeh effect that people still don't talk about as much, I am so in love with. You never have to do portrait, live focus, any of those kind of things because the sensor is so big that it does a natural bokeh effect that's just so good. Honestly, this phone I miss so much moving to the Fold that it was just so well off. It had the second best battery life of the year with 9 hours of screen on time after all my adjustments and my videos. And it really shows just what you can get when you have the best camera, best overall phone is the Note. And that's what it stood for every year. I know we might not have another Note, and I hope that's so wrong because the Note has always stood for the best smartphone at the end of every year, pretty much because it's the best overall smartphone. You want good camera, good battery, good performance all around, plus all the features the S Pen offers, it's always going to be the Note. So for 2020, the Note 20 Ultra is the best smartphone of the year, in my opinion. Let me know what your top 5 is. Is it dramatically different? Let me know in the comments section down below which ones were your favorites, which ones you thought were the worst. There are a lot of bad phones that came out this year, but these were some of the ones that I thought did very well and honestly knocked out of the park. Thank you as always so much for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.